determined women of destiny. Oh yeah, we'll be on the motivator. Come and see. Passion meets purpose every single time. Amazing women shining, letting their light climb. Stories to empower, courage to believe, encourage, inform, inspire. You will achieve.
Hey, good people, it's your girl Yvonne, the Motivator Man, and I'm here with one of the owners of the Vegan House Shack. Got it right. And this is Coshinia.
Coshinia.
All right. And her and your husband, right, came together with this wonderful idea of feeding people in Greenville, South Carolina, some really, really good food. And it was it's healthy and it's vegan. I came upon this truck on August Road. All of you know, my family lives in Greenville, South Carolina. So, I'm just driving around, going to Walmart or whatever, and I see this truck and it says vegan. And I said, hey, let me try it. From time to time, I have done vegetarian lifestyle. I'm backslidden. It's a fried chicken wing and a rib that throws me off all the time. But I go to this truck and I order my food. And the thing that was the young man, was that your son?
That was my son.
The young man was so chill, right? He's like, can I take it order? Right? And then we were like asking him questions, and we said, where's the menu? He was like, right over there. And then I just started asking him questions, and I was able to meet Coshinia. And I asked her questions, and it just went from there.
Yeah.
Every time I come to Greenville, I get the same thing. The green tomatoes and the fried cauliflower. There's so much more. I've had other stuff, but that's my staple when I come to Greenville. So welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And please tell me how the concept was birthed with you and your husband to, start with the truck and then come to your own place.
Well, the concept was birthed with the pandemic. Being inside of a ministry and just teaching the Bible. Genesis 1:29 talks about the food, herbs, and the herbs should be meat unto you. And so it's more about eating clean than it is about the term vegan, because that's such a Western term in terms of when you go back and look at our ancestors, we were vegan by nature. We still lead in plant-based eating today. African American, African diaspora, so-called Negro, we still lead in veganism today, a plant-based diet. A lot of it had to do with our history, our story, because meat was a delicacy. And our ancestors have always cooked more vegetables than they did any meat. Sometimes it was just social class, sometimes it was just situation. So teaching and learning, the Leviticus in the Bible talks about a clean diet, no pork, no shellfish, basically that the herbs is meat unto mankind. And so when you look at the original diet in the Garden of Eden, it was plant-based.
That's right.
Now meat did come. We do see throughout the scripture where meat is supplied. We see it sacrificed. We see the 5 loaves and 2 fish. We see all of that. Yeah. But we nailed in the original diet was that the trees, that the earth fed us. And that's a beautiful thing. So the concept was birthed from that. Our church purchased a food truck, and we never intended for the success of Vegan House Shack to become what it was. It was just taking vegetables to an area that was District 25, so Augusta Road, it's District 25, and it doesn't have anything but a Waffle House, a Burger King, and that's about it. So we took,
yeah, I know that.
So we couldn't have found a better location to set up because of the area, social class, the income. And I grew up in that area, born and raised, and the kicker was a lot of people that I began to serve were my friends' parents. So I started being reacquainted with a lot of classmates. And so what was just a good idea turned into a life change. And I worked a full-time job. I have been cooking in the ministry for years, like cooking for our church, cooking for events. So what most Black women can cook.
Right.
We've been cooking a long time.
Forever.
We hadn't just started cooking.
And we learned young.
Yeah,
too.
we were cooking when we didn't want to cook.
That's right.
Yeah, so it's a beautiful thing when you can cook for your family. One thing to cook when you're being made to cook, but it's another thing when you can cook from a place of love and just home, because that's the best ingredient to give a family. So my first encounter was with people that I love, my family, my church family. And then it spread abroad to the wider community. And that can be a challenge sometimes.
You're from here. You're
Yeah, I'm born and raised. Yeah,
You're a Greenville girl.
I'm a Greenville girl.
Okay.
But that can bet, my mom, she's from up north, Baltimore. So I spent a lot of time in Baltimore, but I'm born and raised here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you say the challenges, is it because you are a Greenville girl, so they would expect more from you, or would it be the challenges that you wouldn't be accepted at all?
Well, it's more like challenges. Food is a different industry. I did hair for 20 years. I owned a salon for 20 years, and every career path that you take is different. Food is a different beast. It's a different. When I say challenges, it's harder to please people because it's your favorite may be fried green tomatoes and fried cauliflower. Somebody else may say, well, I like mine this way or that way. And so the challenge is, like anybody, you like your macaroni pie a certain way, and you just never know how your gift of love is going to be received when somebody else feel like, or I'm going to say, not feel, I'm going to say when they are acquainted with a different taste, a childhood taste. My mom is the best cook because that was my cook.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But your mom is the best cook
That's right.
because that was your cook.
Nobody could fry chicken like
That's
fried
right.
food.
See?
Right.
And that poses a challenge. It's a different type of industry. Like if my son sit down at my table, he say, that's mama's cook. That's the best cook. If somebody else's son sit down at my table, he say, the yams was good, but my mama make the better macaroni.
Right.
So the
Okay.
challenge is that it's not always received as a pure gift.
Okay.
You got foodies, you got food critiques, you
Right.
got all of this.
Or people just like to eat.
Yeah,
And if
just
it
like to
tastes good,
eat.
it tastes good.
Yeah, but it's a very warm feeling when people love you, and we have truly been loved.
I tell you, when I went home, I think the second time, and I was talking about the food truck, and someone came in and said, oh yeah, where you been? And I'm like, well, I hadn't been on August Road. So
Yeah.
that was an adventure for me. When I saw your tagline, plants over pills,
Feels,
and it brought me to mind when I saw Steve Jobs in the later part of his life. The man wore a dress because the cancer had rid his body so much that wearing pants and a regular shirt was painful to him.
Yeah.
And he looked right in the camera and said, you can eat your food like medicine or eat your medicine like food.
You choose.
And that thing shook me. I was just like,
Yes.
when you think of that. So when you see plants over pills, and then, you talk about the Bible, and everything that is healing is in a plant.
That's right.
My mom has severe arthritis and nothing works for her. I said, I'm gonna get you some white willow.
White willow.
And she says, what is that? That's your original aspirin. It is much more potent and it goes to the pain. It doesn't go through all those other places that Tylenol goes to first.
That's
Because
right.
it's not synthetic, getting her to take that was, I don't know what that is. And I'm trying to tell you what it is. But because a doctor didn't prescribe it, don't want to do it. And because you're not in Walmart, I don't want those fried green tomatoes, right? Even though you could package it, freeze it, and they could take it on home. We're so used to,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
It's at home in New York, Stop and Shop. That's my place to shop. I don't shop anywhere else. So if you want to Stop and Shop, oh, I buy all your stuff, right? But would I ever come if I didn't know you to your place here? Now you've gone from the truck and you have a new location and it's in a church.
Inside of our church, because it's the heart of what we do is connected to this ministry. So people in times of, Vegan House Chat at this point could be a franchise. It could be big, it could be huge, if that's what it was destined to be. But because of me and my husband's vision, it's important that it doesn't grow bigger than the mission of this church. Because it's for the congregation. You can get so successful, grow so fast, stretch yourself so thin. I would lose passion in packaging my food and not being on site. I don't have any passion for that.
I'm gonna let that cook right there.
Yeah, I don't have any passion. I don't care how much money I could make, and I'm already a millionaire. You can make as much money in your mind as you tell yourself. You can be as rich as I drive a Toyota Camry, not because that's what I can afford. I drive a Toyota Camry because I've driven everything. I've driven a Mercedes. When I was poor, when I'm poor, I'm gonna drive that Camry. When I'm rich, I'm gonna drive that Camry. You could be as rich as you tell yourself, but if you don't have time and you don't have passion, that's where success is. It lies in time and passion. You lose focus. The church never would desire for us to become restaurant owners all over different states and all over the nation and not be their pastor. They would never desire that. And God didn't call us to be restaurant owners. But this is just a branch of the ministry, and that's why it holds. It's a beautiful thing. Like we meet people from all walks of life, all over. I meet people all the time. I'm from this state. I'm from, overseas. I'm from this. I'm from that. And it's a beautiful thing because that's exactly how ministry should be. If it's several ways to feed sheep. You can do it in the pulpit with a microphone, or you can take them and feed them. 5 barley loaves of bread, 2 fish, and multiply. There's several ways to give people love.
I like what you said that I could have franchise. You absolutely could have food trucks all over the place. All over the place and be very successful. And those people working those franchises would be successful too. But you said, I don't want to grow past the mission of my ministry. And that's why I said, yeah, we need to let that cook right there because that's important. A lot of times we run after the bag and we forget it's about making impact. It's about the people. Your love for your cooking, listening to you talk about it, that there's a love there, right? But if it grew so big, it would be, I have to do this because I have to live to the amount of people that want what I have. It's no longer a joy. It's no longer just work, right? It's not ministry.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not ministry.
Yeah.
I posted something the other day with me behind the mic. And it posted and it said, the mic saved my life and now I use it to give life.
Yeah,
right? To speak life. And that's what you're doing, right? To people that don't understand about eating better or being vegan, or vegetarianism, all of that, they get a chance to learn it from you, right? And this way you're giving people health. You're giving people longevity, and you're giving them a way to look at this life differently, right? Because people may come in here that don't know the word, right?
That's
And
right.
they just drive past, they have the address and not know that this is a church. And what you're hearing right now, everybody, when you walk in, you hear recording that says, welcome. It welcomes you as you come up the stairs. So that's what you just heard. I know that your time is limited, right? But I'd like to take a break right now, and then we'll come on back. All right?
Need a song that speaks from the heart. We bring the lyrics and music to spark. Custom made just for you, feel the beat. A melody crafted so sweet, so unique. For podcasts, proposals, reunions too. Ministries, brands, yeah, we got you. Try infinite melodies, your song, your sound. We bring your vision to life all around. From weddings to business, milestones and moments. We turn your story into music with focus. Let your story shine with rhythm and grace. Infinite melodies brings music to your space.
Okay, everybody, we had to take a break. You gotta pay the bills, and gave y'all a chance to turn that chicken over and get them kids out the bathtub or whatever you do at the break. If you're just joining me, like I always say, shame on you. Where were you in the beginning? But I do love you for coming into the show now. I'm Yvonne, the Motivated Man. I have the pleasure of speaking to the owner of the Vegan House Shack. House Shack, and it's Coshinia.
Coshinia.
All right, and we were discussing before how her and her husband came together, started the business, started with the food truck, and now they have a restaurant that is in the upper part of the church that they belong to. So tell us how that happened.
So we have a campus that's 15,000 square feet, and inside of our ministry, we have a full gym for our seniors. This is like probably the most unique place. We have done a lot. We've been here 17 years. We've done a lot as far as ministry. We try to fill this place up. Summer camps and this, that, and the other. But in terms of, it used to be a school. We bought this facility, this campus. It was a school, and so this was the cafeteria that we used as our fellowship hall. And so a school was here many, many years. I can't tell you how many years the school was here, but we just went along with the same vision. And instead of having a school, we just decided to put a restaurant on the upper level. It's what I would like to call a safe place. It's a house of refuge. You never know what somebody's going through, what they need. I see people coming here and they sit all day long. Sometimes they work my whole shift. They do homework. They use the Wi-Fi. They talk on the phone. They bring their friends because it's not a place like this in Greenville. It's not a place that provides the peace. I'm born and raised here. It's not even a place that provides the peace that this place provides. And, it's so important that when we are asked to do something, that we do it in a very unique way. So that we don't have replicas of what we already experienced. And I'm most proud of this project, proud of a lot of things that we done in this ministry, proud of a lot of, but I'm most proud of this because it was the hardest thing we ever done in terms of even getting it approved because of, sometimes you have people that only see monetary benefits and they're not spiritual enough to experience, real ministry. And all they can see is money. You got people that when they drive by church, all they see is the money that the church taking up. They don't see that they don't see the lives and the impact that's changed.
Right.
And I liken that to a person that cooks but is absent of soul. You ever ate food and you say it was good, but it didn't have soul.
Right, like we just said,
Yeah,
we should put a foot in it.
And there's only one culture that can put soul in food. It's unfortunate, but we're gonna brag about it.
It's us.
It is gonna brag about it.
us.
I have never had. I've had a lot of different cuisines. I've been to other countries. But I tell you, if we're not cooking, it's absent of soul. And that's just God's special grace and ability that he gave us, if you gonna make us cook, he gonna give us something to be remembered by.
I love the recipes when they say a teaspoon of this and a teaspoon of that. I was cooking grits one time and my favorite Aunt Helen. I said, oh, I gotta put this much grits in there. She said, girl, move out the way. Just put
Yeah.
the grits in there, put in everything. I said, Aunt Helen, how do you know about measurement? She said, child and ancestors.
Yeah,
teach you."
yeah, they'll
And
teach
I,
you.
we laughed about
Yeah.
it, but what she was saying is she watched her mother, who
Uh-huh.
watched her mother,
That's
who
right.
watched her mother.
Right.
So all of
Right.
those people taught her
Yeah.
exactly what to
Uh-huh.
put in there,
Yeah.
you know? And I love the stuff that I'm seeing on Facebook now, where you'll see someone that's not of the black or brown culture, and they start eating something like macaroni. She's like, okay, yeah, I need this. I need this in my life. But they like mac and cheese too, but they need this in them
Yeah.
because the seasoning
Yeah,
is just
Yeah.
different.
yeah. They have to marry, and if you don't know, it's like rhythm.
Yes.
Season is like rhythm, and Black people have rhythm. Our culture has rhythm, and it's the same way. Seasons marry, and you just have to have certain seasonings. If you don't have them, we just don't want it. We just don't want it.
Everything is just not always salt.
Yeah, we just don't want salt and pepper, and a lot of things don't even need the salt. If you got the right combination of herbs and spices, it's hard to teach you. It's rhythm. You either have it or you don't.
Yeah, I believe that, and your place has that rhythm.
Yeah.
It has that rhythm. All my family knows when I come in, two things I have to have. I have to have your food and some hard fried chicken.
Hey,
So they know
hey.
we on the Zaxby's, but I'm coming here first.
That's right.
I'm
All right.
I'm coming here
I
first.
appreciate
because
that, bud.
It's just the food, it tastes so good. And I've had other stuff, like, I come to the truck with my sister and with my nephew. And I've had other stuff that you make and everything tastes good, but I know what my favorites are, right? And that's what I look for. So where do you see the vegan house shack going from this point? I know you said you don't want it to grow past the mission because it's ministry. So you're ministry minded. You wanna continue that impact with the community, being from the community. That's a wonderful thing. But where do you see this going? I won't say business because it's not a business. A business is about having a product or a service and you sell it and you make the money. But this is much more than a product and it's much more than a service.
I don't know how much I'm involved in the physical part of Vegan Health Shack in the future as much as I am in the teaching aspect. In terms of sharing recipes, it's no secret. Because I can truly give you a recipe, and if you don't follow those instructions, it won't come out. It's nothing like and I gotta tell the story. My grandmother, who impacted both of my grandmothers, who impacted my life so much, was a baker. One of my grandmothers, Mary Nelson, she was a baker, and she baked for the community. She baked. I mean, with nothing, the lady couldn't cook the baking. That's sometimes rare to have a baker and a cook in one person. Sometimes that's hard to find. So one day I asked my grandma, I said, I'm trying to make this cake. And I said, I need its recipe. She was in the nursing home. My mind had failed her and thing. So she gave me the recipe just clear as day. She knew what she was talking about every day. And I came back, I made that cake. I said, Grandma, and this is how I said it to her. I said, Grandma, something was off about your recipe. I said, you missed something. It wasn't quite right.
And she said it was.
Yeah,
Because
my grandmother-
came for you.
My grandmother was candid. She was a candid woman. She said, no, it's not nothing wrong with the recipe. She said, it's the person who made it that didn't follow instructions. And I said, oh my goodness. And I never could make that until she left us earth. And that's really what birthed my baking. Because I used to tell people the reason why you can't bake is because you don't follow instructions. Because that's what my grandma said to me. One day I got in the kitchen and said, do the same thing over and over and over and over. Stop doing it different. Do the same thing over and over and over and over. And I came out with that cake and I've been baking it since. But you gotta follow instructions.
And that leads
If you
to-
want it to taste good.
And that leads to
Yeah.
the vegan house
Yeah.
because you
Yeah.
followed the instructions from God of what He wanted you to do, how He wanted you to do it for His people.
Yeah.
And that's why you've been so successful. Now, we had said that this is in the upstairs of the church that you attend. What is the name of the church?
Planted by Faith Church.
So
Planted
the
by
church
faith.
is planted by faith.
That's right, because when we planted this church in 2010, it had to be by faith because it was so much bigger. We had small kids and little funds. And so if this was gonna be a vision, it's gonna have to be by faith.
So when you say we, is this your church?
This is
You're
me
the
and
pastor?
my husband's pastor.
Oh, my goodness. I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Yeah, he is.
I didn't know, I know you kept saying,
Yeah.
me, and I
Yeah.
thought, okay, so your
Yeah.
husband is the
Yeah.
pastor of the church.
Yeah,
Oh, my goodness. That is,
Yeah.
that's phenomenal.
yeah, it is.
That is
So
phenomenal.
when, he pastored, he used to be, I was born and raised Baptist. And my husband first pastorate by election was a Baptist church in Cross Hill, South Carolina. And, I tell anybody, hired help and planting are two different extremes. Because when you hire help, you go into a setting and everything's already done. All you do is maintain and manage. But when you are a planter, you've got to grow the grass.
Gotta cultivate.
You gotta cut the grass. You
Yeah.
gotta run the wires. You gotta hang the lights.
Everything.
You gotta find the people. So you can go into an established church and the culture is already created. But when you planting, when God calls you to be a builder, it's different. It's a different dynamic because you have to call people from all different directions and teach them how to mingle. It's a different type of pastor.
And you and my husband are young.
We were younger.
Right,
We
so,
feel, we
so
don't
you're
feel
young,
as young,
right,
now,
so
but
when
we
you
were
think of
young.
taking on this type of ministry, you're thinking season for years and years and years, like 6,
Yeah,
7.
yeah,
You guys are young,
yeah.
and you have that youthful spirit because for those of you that will listen, you'll see some pictures, but has a head full of beautiful locks.
Yeah, yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Beautiful
Yeah,
locks.
yeah.
And honestly, in the Baptist world, quote unquote,
Mhm.
OJ,
Yeah,
Pentecostal,
Mhm.
that's not seen.
that's right.
So
For a
already,
reason.
like, you're just out the box.
Yeah, out the box.
You're just out the box for
Yeah,
God,
yeah.
with the ministry, with food. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good feeling. Be good.
Yeah, because we're peculiar people. And God doesn't want us to be cookie cutters.
That's right.
And for some reason, we feel like we have to follow a certain regimen. Like at one time, I got so sick and tired. I ain't talking about nobody. I'm looking right up to the ceiling. Y'all
I'm
can't
just
see.
talking
I'm
about what I'm
nobody.
talking about, but I ain't
But I
talking about
got
nobody.
sick and tired of seeing that one bun up on all the women's heads in church.
Yeah.
And at that time, I had like a Shaka Khan throw that I never combed, right? And I was like, so not within the confines of what a woman of God was supposed to look like, right? My dress was always there. And it wasn't until God said to me, you're different. I was able to accept that, because my mom is Baptist all the way back to John the Baptist. Or I had
I ain't
every
changing
Sunday,
that.
right? Or I had every Sunday. And at my church, right, because most of my dresses go to my ankles. And in the summertime, no pantyhose. My mother would have her fit. I go to Bread of Life. She's like, oh, don't bring that Bread of Life over here. I'm like, "Don't bring it." Right? So just to have this ministry, to be out of the box, and like you said, you're feeding souls and you're feeding natural bodies, and you're bringing good food you're bringing good information. And I thank you for, allowing me today to talk to you, about this. And just to learn a little bit more. And if I'm ever out here on Sunday, I'll come and visit with you.
You're always welcome.
So you guys, I want y'all, if you're in Greenville, Spartanburg, even, Columbia, South Carolina, Charlotte is only an hour and 30 minutes away. Y'all come down to the Vegan House Shack, and what's that?
21 East Parish Road, Greenville, South Carolina, 29605.
And if you're in Greenville, you're looking for a church, a scripture teaching church, because they teach scripture, because she been calling me the whole time. So if you want to learn about the scriptures, you want to learn about your Bible, you want to come on down and sit under the man of God and the woman of God, and just get your soul and your body fed. So until next time, good people, y'all keep doing what you're doing until what you're doing gets done.